Welcome back to Monster Rancher 3, everyone. In the last episode, Sora managed to achieve and win the S-Class official tournament. So that has now opened the Big 5 tournaments, which start here at the Kalaragi Carnival, and also go to the Berelia Grand Prix, the Morks All-Stars, the Goat Big Tournament, and the Takrama Heat Challenge. Now, the problem is, I don't think Sora really has the power to deal with these S-Class tournaments. There's no reason not to try, I suppose. But we are also trying to get a particular thing to happen storyline-wise, and I don't think it's going to work. Basically, the storyline here is we're dealing with Kai, and he's already offered us $2,000 to throw a fight, which is stupid. But he also wants us to, eventually he's going to come back according to the storyline, and then we'll beat him again, and then it'll unlock a special tournament November week 2, which is here. I assume it'll be a free tournament, but regardless, if we win that battle, we'll unlock the right to raise Jokers, which I believe are the strongest monsters by base stat in the game. Doesn't matter for now, though. All that matters right now is we need to maximize Sora's numbers. Sora has maximum power, which means our next monster is going to start off with an instant 200-point boost to his power. I don't think it's worth even attempting the S-Class at this point. The Big 5 tournaments, I don't want to risk Sora's health. Hey, Bungles, how's it going? I don't remember the voice I used for you. It was more deep and rolling. Any parameter can go up after a battle. It's cool, because there are some parameters that are really hard to increase. Sure, okay. I don't want to battle you. I have no reason to do so. So instead, let's just keep raising, because at this point, the only thing that matters is his numbers. So, is this the fishy one? He punches a fish and then a bunch of fish come and attack him? Right. Okay, cool. We'll just keep working on that until we don't need to work on it anymore. And hopefully the next monster who comes up, who takes Sora's place, is also power and defensive. And even if not, it doesn't matter, because they're going to kick ass. The only problem will be is if the next monster we roll is like a green pixie or something. Not literally a green pixie, but a pixie who uses a lot of green attacks. And given that this is currently November week 1, I think either the storyline is bugged, which I doubt, or we just simply can't proceed with it. Because it's going to be another year before this tournament opens up, and he's not going to make it another year, so I assume we're just going to have to hold off on that storyline for a while. Okay, so even with the double boost, he's only getting 8 defense. Sora is definitely not much longer for this world, but I need to keep going with defense as long as I can. Now, when is the next battle? January 2. I think I will try it, because at this point, there's no reason not to at least attempt it. As I just said at the beginning of the episode, there's no reason. It's weird. It's like there's no reason either way. Or I guess you could say, you could make the argument that it's pointless to even try the S-Class or the Big 5 tournaments when he is so close to death. But it's also pointless not to try him because he's so close to death. So, I don't know. We'll see, I guess. How much money do I have? That's it? Jeez, you would think I'd have more than that at this point. Because I think some of those items in the shop, the permanent items, are like 100,000 or something. How the crap do you get that much money? Alright. Well, it doesn't matter. So Sora is still trying to get one new exercise, which is here. Which is not working for some reason. And we'll keep going with the noisy halls. God, I'm just swimming in bits now. There's bits everywhere. Throw the aqua bit away. Okay. So I'm getting pretty good at memorizing where everything is here in Goat. Just because I've been here so long at this point. So we're kind of in a coasting mode today. There's really not much we can do. There's really not much we're waiting for other than Sora to pass away. I keep bringing it up, even though I don't want to think about it too hard, but I mean, you gotta prepare for that. It's actually the weirdest. I don't mean to bring everybody down, but when my cat died, I was really upset. Because I had my cat was 20 when he died. 20, very old for a cat. And I've known him all his life and most of my life, and they really hurt me. But we got his prognosis 2 weeks before he actually passed away. And they advised I put him down when I first got the prognosis. Because he had some sort of growth. I think it was like a tumor on his jaw on the inside. They gave me his prognosis would be like 2 weeks. And they said just put him down now. But the thing is, like, I told them then, and I still believe it, that I knew when it would have been time. And my cat was still very active, or as active as he could be. He certainly wasn't, like, kitten-like at that age. But he had a routine, and he always hung out with me, and he didn't appear to be in pain. Animals don't really show pain anyway, but, like, he didn't cry. He didn't move too stiffly. Like, he seemed the same he had been for the last 7 years. So I just sort of decided, okay, I'm going to give him the best life he can possibly have for these last 2 weeks. And I spent as much time as I could with him. And it was weird because when he finally died that morning, it was sudden. Like, he was totally... Now, for those of you who may not have animals, a lot of times when a pet dies or knows they're going to die, they will actually do so privately. Especially cats. If a cat knows it's on its last legs, a cat will tend to go somewhere in private. It'll bury itself, not literally bury itself, but it'll, like, if it's an outdoor cat, it'll go under some bushes, or under the stoop. If it's an indoor cat, wow, 4 years old. If it's an indoor cat, they'll often, like, hide behind the couch or whatever. So Tiger did his entire routine. He, like, ate breakfast in the morning and he hung out with me all day, and it was like a normal day. And then he had this massive seizure. And that seizure, like, he just never recovered from it. And, like, when it happened, I knew he was done. Like, as soon as it happened, I'm like, all right, I've got to put him down. Because, as I said, I knew when it would be time, and I did not think I would hesitate, and I did not hesitate, and I knew it was time. And I held him, and I held him for hours, unfortunately, because I couldn't get to the vet immediately. I had to wait for a ride, and that is one thing I regret. I wish I could have gotten to the vet faster and literally had him put out of his misery a little faster. But the reason I'm even bringing this up is I remember the post-mortem, which is a really dark term to use for this, but the post-mortem of my mood was intriguing to me after the fact, because when it happened, I didn't grieve. I didn't cry. The only major regret I had when I went to the vet was that I did not sign the paperwork authorizing him to be euthanized. My mom signed that, and in a way, like, I get it. She didn't want to put that pressure on me, and I had my arms full of my cat. Like, I was holding him the whole time. And I just didn't have the hands to sign the paperwork. But that said, I was there, and then it happened, and I was just kind of numb. And I came home, and I remember, like, the Akamura was with me, and my mom was with me, and they didn't bluntly ask it, but they were watching me. They wanted to know if I needed anything, because I took my cat's death hard, and they weren't sure if I was going to cry or just go to bed, or, you know, they didn't know what I was going to do. And I didn't do anything. Like, I just sat there. I didn't say anything on the ride home, and I wasn't in a state of shock, because I remember everything that happened. Like, I remember the ride home. I remember it was in silence. I remember coming home. I wasn't hungry, but I wasn't pukey. I wasn't in any sort of really bad shape. I was just sort of numb. And I think in hindsight, what happened was, after the initial prognosis that he only had 2 weeks to live, that's when I started grieving. Because I remember those 2 weeks before he died were among the worst of my life. It was bad. I couldn't pull myself out of my misery. I was sad all the time. I cried over him a couple times, even while I was petting him. It was just bad. And then he died, and it was sort of like, well, it's over now. And I had already started processing it before it happened. So when it finally happened, there was nothing left to process. It was just over. And prior to it happening, I thought I would have some sort of emotional reaction when it came time to get rid of his food dish, when it came time to get rid of his litter box, because I wasn't going to get another cat. I still don't have another cat. But it wasn't. Like, I didn't have any reaction. It just happened, and then I moved on. And I think it was because I had already grieved those 2 weeks prior. I don't know if that's good or bad. I know when my grandfather died, he and I weren't really close, so it didn't really affect me, but it affected my mom. And she sort of went through the same thing, because my grandfather was really sick for 3 years before he died. And she told me that, you know, the family was grieving for my grandfather for those 3 years, essentially, watching him get worse. So when it finally happened, it felt like a relief. Or at least just, you know, it's over now, let's move on, kind of thing. I don't know if that's healthy. I don't know if it's unhealthy. It probably is nothing. Like, everyone handles death and other tragedies their own way. You know, some people will drink, some people will swear. The 5 stages of grief are real. Actually, there's probably more than just 5 stages, apparently. But the 5 that everyone is famous, or the 5 that everyone knows, happen. The only difference is they don't always happen in the same order, and they may come up more than once. And I know when my cat died, for example, I never bargained. I never really... Well, no. Prior to it, I probably bargained, but I was never angry about it. And I think when it actually happened, I was already at the acceptance stage, so I was fairly okay. Although I still very much miss him. Anyway, I didn't mean to bring everything down. My point of this is, I suppose that's just the kind of person I am, for better or worse, or just different. And especially because Wait, what? What happened? Why do I have to do something? I have to earn the right to face the champion? Is that what's going on? Because I won the tournament, so why didn't I... Okay, well, whatever. Please don't kill me immediately. Alright, well, fair enough. That was a huge amount of guts damage. Huge. I'm probably gonna have to go for cheap attacks. I mean, alright. Great, but I'm still gonna hit you, and you're still gonna feel it. I mean, I will hit you. It's just a matter of time. Okay. Here's what's gonna happen. You're gonna stop dodging, and I'm gonna punch you in the face. Okay? It's pretty simple. I'll just S. Wow, this is rough. This is really rough. Shit, I need to just go for cheap attacks, because I'm missing everything. Wow, they're so aggressive at this level, too. Of course, I guess the monsters in Monster Rancher 3 are generally just more aggressive than in Monster Rancher 4. Wow, I'm going to lose this. Unbelievable. This would have to, like, crit, and I'd have to get crazy lucky. Nope, not enough. Not enough. Okay, well, I'm going to chalk that up to a tournament loss, unfortunately, because even though I won the tournament part of the tournament, I wasn't able to win the tournament overall. It wasn't a bad showing, though. It really wasn't a bad showing. If I'd had better defense, and I'll chalk up the bad accuracy to not only unlucky procs, but that Hangar had a butt ton of freaking speed, and he sort of forced my hand early by draining all my guts. So not quite, but we are on to something here, and I may as well just keep trying it. I may as well keep trying those big fives, or great fives, whatever. So, not bad, not bad. So the next one's going to be March 2. I didn't think Sora was going to last this long, let alone actually trying the tournaments. If I could go back in time, I'd actually probably try that first one. Oh well. Still working on it, though. I guess having a high number of hit points is unavoidable in this, because again, clearly you can just brute force your way to victory due to the fact that accuracy only means so much, and dodging only means so much. But if you have high dodge, a relatively decent defense, and a high life, you could probably rely on your dodge to keep you out of completely getting dominated all the time, if nothing else. But man, that's pretty rough, man. Of course, I put the cast on him, so obviously his dodge rate's lower. And that Hangar was pretty buff. I don't know if you saw his numbers. He's no joke. Oh, go. Might be apropos that this is apropos that this happens in the episode I talk about death. So it is what it is. Oh, I can't remember if I finished my thought, but like, even though it's just data, I keep data in context. Losing Sora here is not going to affect me as losing as much as my real life cat, but also it does hurt a little bit. I don't like seeing even my data monsters hurt. This is Sora's... You're gone, Sora. Yes. It's sad we can't see Sora anymore, but if we keep brooding on it, Sora won't be able to rest in peace. Well, let's go to the shrine and bring a new monster home. Do I want to save Sora's last versus data? Hell yes, I do! And speaking of versus data, there's his last numbers here. But his final record, as I update my Excel chart here, Sora's final record is 63 wins, 13 losses, 36 knockout wins to 4 knockout losses. He won 11 tournaments out of 15 with a final earning of 33,000, putting him just a hair behind Proton Jr. So it is what it is. So I think I'm going to call an early end to this episode anyway. I need to... The Akamura's on her way home. We're going to run out for soda. And this is a good place to stop. We can raise a new monster in the next one, especially because I still don't know where my chart is with all the names. So I'd have to find that anyway, and it'd take longer than 30 seconds. So we'll just start from here next time. So hopefully this episode didn't bring you down. Yeah. Stay strong, guys. No matter what's going on in your lives, no matter how heavy it might be, stay strong. Because at least for me, I actually do care about you. I want to see you happy and healthy as much as possible. And, you know, don't let life get you down too much. It's especially not on this channel. This is video games and fun, yay, happy zone. That wasn't a sentence. Thank you all very much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow for another episode.